Man, let's go. Come on the journey. A journey that was written off as boring by pretty much everybody. But the second half of ACCA 13, man, it was nothing short of amazing, and I'm pretty sure this has happened before, but I can't openly remember a series that I've watched where the first half started off, I won't say bad, but started off really slow, and then the second half just blew everything out of the water, and that's what ACCA 13 was able to manage, even coming down to the finale, where usually when you get to the second half of a series, it starts to lose its steam. Usually the second half is when series that are good start to get bad, but it just seems like ACCA 13 was biding this time, slowly building to that ever-fulfilling finale. And episode 8 even got a perfect 10 from me. I think that was probably the only perfect 10 I handed out this entire anime season. So that shows how enjoyable ACCA 13 was as a series. I'm very glad that I stuck with it. But let's get down to this finale because it was a lot to take in. And again, I've already said it was very satisfying to me. So the stage is set, the plan is underway, and it started off with a little bit of a rocky start because ACCA wanted to actually interrupt Swan in his coronation and announce that Gene was the prince. But Gene decided against that. He was like, you know what, let's save that for a later date because it might cause a lot of chaos. And it was some things falling into place as well, like Rail, he was out there with his other co-workers, or basically out there to do riot control with the rest of the guards that he's a part of. You had Nino out there to make sure Alada was okay in the crowd. And Lilium decided to out Swan. He decided to out Swan about him wanting to disband ACCA, and that automatically caused, an uproar between the people. They're like, what? ACCA is all that we know. ACCA is the justice system. You can't uproot that. This guy's horrible. He's gonna be a bad king. You even have people chanting, not my king, not my king, which that was another thing that I've always said I liked about ACCA is how they take, in this fictional setting, how they take things from what's actually going on in the world with people saying not my king, similar to the not my president that us in the States are going through, and they use that with Swan as well. But everything started to fall into place, but Lilium did get a little bit hot under the collar because it was a lot of ad-libbing going on. First and foremost, Gene with the whole thing of him not wanting to do the announcement right then and there, and then you have Mauve just comes out of nowhere and she gives a speech about how ACCA should be the weapon or the shield and sword for the kingdom under Princess Swan's rule, and Swan agreed with it. What? ACCA giving us another curveball right at the end of the series because the entire plan was to pull the rug from under Lilium without him knowing. So we had a coup within a coup within a coup because this whole plan was orchestrated by Mauve as well as Gene to take Lilium out of power, and Groslar was in it as well. Nobody knew until the very last moment. And when that moment happened, and oh my god, that music that was going on when they announced this, when Groslar said, so this was all your plan, Mauve? Nice. Okay. You know what? The 5 chief officers are no longer needed. That plan was so good that we're just gonna bow down, and ACCA is completely under you. And when that music hit through that whole time when she did her reveal, and when they did that, it was just masterful. I mean, have I mentioned how much I like the OST of this series? Because it has been nothing short of amazing. It's probably the best OST in the entire series. And again, ACCA bringing us another curveball out of nowhere. I mean, Lilium was completely caught off guard, and much like everybody else in this series, he was pissed about it, but he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take my ball and go home. So he just decided to pull the Ferraro district from ACCA. He went to the crib. Groslar was like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead. There's no more 5 counselors anymore. Mauve is sitting atop of the throne, but now instead of 13 districts, there's technically 12, but Groslar decided to keep the 13 name intact. So just in case Ferraro decided to come to their senses one day, that door was still open for them. So I liked how they just tied everything up into a nice little bow in this finale, because remember, Gene didn't want to be king. He didn't. but everybody was pushing them to do this, and it would have been better for the country than what Schwan had. So now everything gets to stay as it was. ACCA is still in power. There's still the 13 districts. I mean, you've seen the other districts like Praneta now finally becoming beloved for all of the hard work that they do. You know, the chief officers are retiring, and the family Otis get to remain the family Otis with their life, but except now they can visit the king whenever they feel like it. There's no longer a secret. They can go visit him in his days as he's sick and laying in his deathbed, or not deathbed, but you know, he's laying out in his sick days, and he can see his grandchildren that he was away from for so long. And the whole thing is, you know, even back in Furaru with Lilium, he's back with his family smoking some hookah. He was like, so, I wonder who was the person that started this rumor to begin with. And we see a sly smile from the Privy Council, who probably did it. And even Nino even gets closure on his life as well, because he's released of his mission. He's at his father's grave. He gets to set the camera down that his father had, leaving it on his father's grave. He's relieved of his mission. He can just be a regular person. He doesn't have to be friends with Jean in secret anymore. And to find out that the person that was giving him his orders all along, who is probably a being, that's something that they kind of left out there for you to put together yourself, was actually Jean's boss all along. You know, the dude with the blonde hair and the mustache. He was the person that was giving Jean his orders all along. Again, I'm pretty sure he was a being, and he was like, you know what, now you can live your life. Your job is done. Meanwhile, I'm about to go, and now I don't have to deal with this stupid die job anymore. Or maybe I do, because, you know, I still got a job to go to. So overall, this entire series and this finale was basically like, okay, everybody back to work. Nothing else to see. Get back to work. The day's over. Have fun. Everybody is back to their loving, fulfilling, and fun lives. And we had a great musical backdrop to begin. And that was the end of ACCA 13. Again, nothing short of amazing. And I can't commend enough how this series pulled itself up from the bootstraps. The slow burn was definitely worth it. I really enjoyed the finale. So with that being said, my grade for ACCA 13, it went up a little bit more than I thought it would, because at first, before episode 7, this series was sitting at like 6. So what did I give it final? Not yet. I still got some things I gotta go over. Before I leave you guys with the final grade that I gave this series, I just want to go over a couple of things as far as what I liked about the series and what I disliked. What I liked about ACCA 13 was that Persona-like opening. Oh my god, that opening never skipped it, and I honestly listened to it every day, and that was the entire tone of the series. As far as the music with that jazz tempo was oh so great. And another thing that I liked about the series was Nino is definitely best boy. He's probably best boy of the season, if not the season. He's definitely one of them, probably only rivaled by like Kazuma and Konosuba or someone like that. But he was a very interesting character. He was a very tragic character. And honestly, Nino probably had the most development out of all the characters in the entire series. I mean, of course, he was just going through his motions, but he was the person that you probably related to more, you felt for more, because everybody else was just like cardboard in this series. So, something else that I really enjoyed about ACCA 13 was the slow build. Wow, somebody actually enjoying something slow. I mean, the slow build was basically the payoff, because again, yes, it did start very slow, but the payoff was rewarding, and I found it very good is how they patched everything up and tied everything up in a bow. There's no more things to adapt, so the manga's finished, and it just had a very nice and satisfying ending. I'll be lying if I sat here and told you I didn't have a smile on my face after watching this episode. That's how well it was done. And with the whole thing with the coup, being a coup, being another coup, and then another coup again, I mean, you just didn't know who to trust, and it kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time. So with that being said, now it leads me to the things that I didn't like, which was Jean. I mean, this guy, oh my god, he was just such a dead man character. It's like nothing surprised him, nothing fazed him. The entire time he just had one expression throughout the entire series, and that's very bad for a main character. In fact, the entire cast of this series is almost like that, with the exception of Nino. And it wasn't until the last episode that we finally seen a smile out of this character that seemed like it was more genuine and wasn't like a smile that was out of annoyance. I mean, he looked really happy at the end when him and Nino finally reunited. So, and another thing that I didn't like about the series is also something that I liked, which was a slow burn, because again, the pacing of this series was so slow that it caused people to just drop it all together, and it's very info heavy. So I think the dub will come off better for people who may not have gave this a chance. Maybe if you just sat back and actually watched the dub where you don't have to focus on the subtitles too, it will come off a little bit better. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I also recognize that was one of the negatives as well. So with that being said, and with that out there, what do I give ACCA 13 as a final grade? I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. And the reason why it gets to 7.5 instead of 8 is, again, it was just that slow burn that you have to get through. I mean, you have to chew through 6.5 episodes, because it wasn't even until the second half of episode 7 that things really started to pick up for you to feel like it was worth your time watching this series. And I kind of want to put it under a must-see, but at the same time, I can understand if somebody doesn't want to give this series a 7-episode commitment, because usually 3 episodes and you're out. But overall, I can say that I am very glad that I stuck with it, and it was indeed one of the shining gems of the winter season that was oh so bad. But hey, the spring season is starting Saturday, and I cannot wait to get to that. So in the meantime, let me know what you thought of this episode and this series overall in the comments below. What was your final score for it? Again, I'm giving it a 7.5. If you like this video, go ahead and drop it a like, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if there's not a shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.